All right, y'all. I'm about to be talking on a particular topic, which, unless you're like a long-term Black Goose family member, y'all won't necessarily notice. Now, me personally, I am a big Regis Prograis fan. Okay, I know if you're new to the channel, you know what I'm saying. If you haven't been part of the family that long, this may come to a shock to y'all, but I am a very, very big Regis Prograis fan. When he fought Josh Taylor, I was rooting for Regis. That's when I became a Josh Taylor fan because I knew how good Taylor was, but I just like, there's no way he's gonna be able to beat Prograis, and then he beat Prograis. It was a fucking hell of a fight. I loved it. So, um, yeah, just I guess that's kind of a disclaimer to let you guys know, particularly why I'm even reporting this particular topic. Obviously, another thing is because hey, we got to talk about more boxers than the ones everyone else is talking about. But particularly why I chose this one to report to you guys because I'm a very very big fan of Regis Prograis. He just fought this past weekend in Dubai. Absolutely demolished his opponent. He's been on, he's only lost to Josh Taylor. Other than Josh Taylor, he's looked absolutely phenomenal. So when I saw this particular article, obviously when I was doing my due diligence and was saying, what can we talk about when it comes to boxing side the game and share obviously with you guys the family. I saw this particular article, right, and I was kind of complimenting. Excuse me, I was debating with myself. You know what I'm saying, contemplating. You know what I'm saying, whether do I want to talk about this with the family? Do I want to put this out there? Whatever. Just kind of going back and forth type shit. But I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. This is going to be a long video. This is more so me just reporting that this fight is potentially supposed to be happening. And another reason also isn't just because I'm a big fan of Regis Prograis, but I'm not going to say I'm a big fan of Jose Zapata, but I will say that I am very respectful of his skill level, and I'm a big fan of his skill set. I've just came across Jose Zapata probably I've came aware of him probably in the last like couple of years. I've seen him, heard about him, his come up, things like that. But it's really not until this past couple of years where I was like, okay, Jose, he's a dog. He's a dog, but I haven't paid too much attention to him, right? With obviously Jose Zapata, he just won this past weekend. Regis Prograis just won this past weekend. Now I don't know if Jose Zapata ended up calling out Prograis. I don't know if he said anything about Prograis. I actually heard Zapata call out a couple other names that he wanted to fight. And none of them had to do with Prograis or started with Prograis. You heard me? But regardless, I wanted to actually read this article, get into the nitty gritty of this, but I'm not going to be too long with it talking about it myself. I just want to see where this particular report came from, why it's even out there, and how legitimate it is. Because if we are talking about the possibility of Regis Prograis versus Jose Zapata for the WBC 140 title next, I think that's a fire ass fight. I'm all the way in for it. I got my motherfucking hat all the way in the race for this joint. I'm not pulling out. I want to watch this thing. So let's see what type of legitimacy is behind this particular article, or is they just pulling strings and what I'm saying, tugging at emotions to make us feel like this is something that's actually possible. So let's go ahead and read this. Regis Prograis will face. They said will face. They didn't say may or may not. Will face Jose Zapata for the WBC light welterweight title after stopping Tyrone McKenna on cuts last Saturday night. WBC 140 title eliminator at the duty-free tennis stadium in Dubai. The Southpaw Prograis knocked the 32-year-old out in the second round and controlled the fight with his boxing. In the fifth, McKenna suffered a bad cut over his right eye, which ultimately stopped the fight. After the contest, Prograis got a lot of British boxing fans hopes up by saying that he'd like to face Jack Catterall. However, in the dressing room, Prograis made it clear that his next match will be against Jose Zapata for the soon-to-be vacated WBC light welterweight title. Prograis said that if he captures the WBC title, he'll defend it against Catterall in his first defense, feeling that he deserves a title shot due to his controversial split decision against Taylor. I felt great. A big up for Tyrone. He was tougher than I thought. Looking at him, how frail his body looked, I'm going to blast him out in 1 round, 2 round. Man, was he tough. That was probably the best outcome because he was all cut up and stuff, and he just kept coming. So he was definitely tough competition, but he brought the war. That's what he promised. But once I started boxing, that's all I had to do. I didn't have to go to war with him. When I was face to face to him, look, I'm going to hurt you. That's what I do. I go and I hurt people, and I know I have power. I know he never felt nothing like that. With 8 ounces, most people can't take my power, especially now that I'm starting to box. People are going to take that. I just need a box. When I box, people can't touch me. I feel like I'm the best at 140 when I have to box, though. So, obviously, once again, you know what I'm saying? You gotta read these articles. Like I said, don't just go off, face value of what it says. When it comes to the particular title, like I said, man, clickbait is everywhere, even with these bad boys. So it's not next. So Regis Prograis versus Jose Zapata, it's not in the books. It's not stone. You know what I'm saying? It's something Regis said he wanted to fight. He that's what he wanted. He felt like since his last fight was a title eliminator, I'm pretty sure he's like, hey, look, I should be fighting for the belt. Zapata just won his matchup the same weekend. He retained the belt, so I should be the one getting it. So he's putting his name in that book rather than possibly doing like a title eliminator with Catterall. You know what I'm saying? Where it makes sense. I guess I get that. But at the end of the day, I would be interested in seeing Regis Prograis versus Jose Zepeda. I think that would be a good fight. I also think him versus Catterall would be a good fight. I think right now for Regis, just because the Taylor fight kind of derailed his momentum, I think he should take whatever fight he feels like he has success in, because I still think he has the possibility of getting some pretty big fights in the future with him being a young gun and having the skill level and the skill set that he does have. We'll see if he's going to be able to capitalize off that. We'll see who his next fight is, but I think if he goes the Zepeda route or the Catterall route, neither of those will be a bad choice. I know Catterall wouldn't be for the belt, but I don't think necessarily he needs the belt for the big fights right now for the position he's in, because there's going to be options, trust me, especially how the 140 division is starting to kind of turn out. But I want to go ahead and report this to you guys real quick. This is my last report of the day. If you guys end up watching this before me and Zen end up doing our podcast, please check out our podcast. We're going to be dropping that tonight. As always, nothing but love. Guys, check out the community board. I've put so many questions on that community board for you guys, so please answer it. I want to hear you guys' questions. As always, hit the comment section below. Show some love, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm out of here for now, but as always, I'm going to be back with more banging content. It never stops when it comes here, man. It never stops. Black Goose family to